we brought this topic up because we had a person asking us about using CaseWare and Jazzit, and perhaps what we have is we've got CaseWare installed locally, but we're loading the client file from perhaps a source that's on the cloud or it's a VPN, and if we're finding that it is slow to load the file, load the statements, save the document, one thing that can be handy is to use CaseWare's sign out function. Now, CaseWare's sign out option or function is in CaseWare under engagement. You'll see this option here, sign out, okay? So, and it's right over here. What I've done is I've taken a client file and I have already signed it out. So this master in this case has been signed out. So when I go through engagement sign out, it asks me, where do you want to sign it out to? And it also asks me, do you want to compress the central copy? So when we sign out a master, what it's actually doing is it's going to set the one that was on the server as the central copy, and it makes it read only, okay? And then it takes a copy of that and brings it down to wherever I want. So I might have put it on a key, for example, a USB key, and opens it up, and it looks very much like a normal CaseWare file. The only difference is in the title bar at the top here, it now says signed out master up there. So I know it is a signed out engagement. And under file, I have the option here to switch to a central copy. Now that's the one sitting on the server. You see it's grayed out, okay? So no one else can edit this document, so that could be useful while I have it signed out. So I can go back to the signed out master here, and I'm working with it, and at the end of the day, I can then sign it back into the server. Let's take a look at our little screenshot here. So it creates a signed out master, it makes a copy, and it makes the one on the server read only. We can keep the file signed out as long as necessary, but we can also then save the changes back to the central file at a later date. Note that this is not the same as check-in and check-out, okay? Check-in and check-out are only for specific documents within engagement. If we are working as a group and I want to work on a particular document when no one else can edit it, I can check it out. You can use check-in and check-out with sign-in and sign-out, so you can actually sign an engagement out, then check documents out. They need to be checked back in before you can sign it back into the server. Okay, so in CaseWare menu, we go under engagement and we click on sign out. We choose the path, so where are we signing it out to? And then there's an option if we want to compress the central copy. You don't have to, but you can. When we're done, or if we want to, we can, it's just showing us here, we can still toggle between the central copy and the master, and I just did that. We saw that the central copy was read only. Okay, now when we go to sign it back in under engagement sign in, there's an option here to keep the file signed out. Lori, why would we want to keep the file signed out?
Well, you'd want to keep the file signed out if you're planning to work on it again the next day. So if you have a file that you're working on and you haven't gotten it quite finished, you can sign your changes back into the server, because we know that the server should be getting backed up every evening. So you can sign your changes back in, and then the next morning you just start working it again, and then at the end of the day you can sign your changes in. In fact, you can just sign your changes in any time that you want. So if you stopped working on it before lunch because you had something else to do, you could sign it in at that time as well.
Perfect. You know, the other thing to keep in mind too is if you know you're going to be offline. So if the server is going down for maintenance, or if you're going out to a client's location and you just want to take that engagement with you on your laptop, this is a super easy way to do it. I mean, we're all connected now to the cloud, but let's imagine that a client doesn't have high-speed internet. We could just sign the engagement out, and that's a lot safer than using a file manager to move things around. We can just let CaseWare deal with this. Now, what happens if either the central copy or the master file are unusable? It's deleted, it's corrupted, there's something wrong. One thing you can do is in your signed out master or the central copy, you click on tools and go to maintenance, there is an option here to undo the sign out. Now, you would not use this unless you absolutely had to. So think of this as the pull on the wall for a fire. This is an emergency use only, not otherwise, because you do not want two normal CaseWare files at different states for the same client, the same year in. But we can do this to either the signed out master or the central copy, and all it does is make it a normal CaseWare file. So it releases it and just says, forget the signed out business. So there is a way if you had to, but you would not use that unless you absolutely had to do that. So when we're done the engagement, we just sign it back in. That takes it off wherever it was remotely, and it makes the central copy just a normal CaseWare file, and it updates it, and we're on our way. I still love this feature. I think it's very useful. I've used it in lots of situations before where I needed to go out and just take the client with me.